HIIT or high volume training? Which one is better? Great question. So it's really going to vary person to person, but if I'm talking about my personal experience and what makes the most sense to me, plus is what is more time convenient, I'm going to go with HIIT. Automatically. HIIT is way better. So when I started weight training, I would say I averaged between about 150 pounds to 160 pounds. Right now I'm a little over 180 pounds. I made big differences this year. When I started going back to a regular gym in January, I was around 160 pounds. Now I'm over 180 pounds. Granted, I'm eating a lot more. I'm just bulking up. My body fat is a little bit higher. In January, it was around 6%. As of now, it was around 8%, which is still pretty good. You know, it's a 2% difference. You know, who gives a shit? You're still going to have abs. If you're below 10%, you'll have visible abs. You might even have visible abs even as high as 15%. You're not going to have like an 8-pack, and you're not going to look super shredded, but you might still have some abdominal muscles, at least ones that are somewhat visible. Like you might have a 4-pack, whatever. That's still really good because most people are super unhealthy and, well, not most people, but you know what it is. You know, the average person is not walking around with their shirt off with some visible abs. But I digress. So, why is HIIT better? Well, HIIT is the approach that bodybuilders like 6-time Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates use to become the muscle monsters they are today. Or the muscle monster he was back then, I should say. I'll give you an example of what HIIT is, because a lot of people think HIIT is like high intensity interval training. I'm talking about high intensity training, not interval. Cut the interval out. That's like an F45 workout, which is ironically where I coach right now. And there's nothing wrong with that, but when we're talking strictly about putting on muscle, right, high intensity interval training is not going to be the way to go. You can do it. I did it. I was doing high intensity interval training workouts 7 days a week, essentially, sometimes 6, but pretty consistently every day. And I was still in great shape. I would have lower body fat percentage, not as much muscle as I do now, but I was still achieving the results that I wanted. Most of it was just maintenance and trying to get cut up. Now I'm just all about putting on size, and since January I've put on a little over 20 pounds. Again, a lot of that is diet related. Granted, you're gonna have to eat a lot if you want to put on that kind of size. But I gotta get to my point here. I'm gonna ramble forever if I don't. So HIIT is high intensity training. People like Dorian Yates used it. Before that, Mike Mentzer. And then there was some other guy that trained Mike Mentzer. I can't remember his name off of the top of my head right now. But anyway, it's been around for a while. What is it? Get to your point. HIIT is basically you do one working set per exercise. Now that doesn't mean that you just do one set, but it is one working set. You might have another 1 or 2 warm-up sets before that working set. So I'll give you an example. On a deadlift, so I'll warm up, I'll do 225 pounds for 8 reps. Pretty easy. You know, with 225 I could probably get over 20 reps. But I'm just doing 8. I'm warming up, I'm starting to feel the muscles. Then for my second set, I'm doing 315 for about 6 reps. Again, pretty easy. Could probably do that for over 15, 20 reps. Depends on the day. But then my final set, I'm going as heavy as I possibly can. Super heavy. This is the working set. This is the only one that really counts. You're going as heavy as you possibly can. Say for me, it's like around 475 or something. As heavy as possible for about 6 reps. About 6. Or more. Just to failure. So if you can keep going after 6 reps, keep going. But that is sort of the range of which you are working, right? You can look at like a Mike Mentzer workout, and the guy is insane. He's doing like lateral raises for one working set of 6 reps. Now, I personally I prefer maybe around 10 reps for something like that with the smaller muscle groups. You know, your side delts, right? I can't really feel that much doing 6 reps. Maybe I might go really heavy and do 6 reps, but immediately after I'm doing a drop set, I'll grab some lighter weights and bang out another 6 reps or however many I have to do to failure. The reason I like HIIT so much is because you're doing one set to failure. In the past, for me, what I would do high volume training. Sort of like Arnold Schwarzenegger's approach, right? He's in the gym for like God knows how long, 2 to 4 hours a day. Nobody has time to do that. If you got time to do that, you need a better job. Go get a job. If you're in the gym for 2 to 4 hours, you either don't have a job, don't have a family, or you're a 15-year-old living at home. If that's what works for you, great. Go ahead and do it. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. I would do Arnold Schwarzenegger's high volume training. I remember when he had the blueprint out.
I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is my blueprint.
I followed his workouts to a T. Didn't work for me. I didn't put on any strength. Like, I probably put on some muscle, but like my strength plateaued. I didn't really get anywhere. My thing with lifting heavy is that if you can do like a solid 6 reps, as heavy as fucking possible on a deadlift, your muscles are going to adapt to that kind of stress. You know, like if you're just doing 315 all the time and you're not seeing any progress because you're doing high volume training and you're just stuck, you've plateaued, you're not going anywhere, well, it's probably because you're doing high volume training. You're just in the gym for 2 to 4 hours. How the fuck does your body recover from that? Do you want to work out or do you want to live in a gym? Like, bruh. Who is doing like 12 exercises on a single day? I mean, sure, you can do it, but for like one muscle group, you're telling me you're doing like 12 exercises for your chest? Makes no sense. I mean, you can look at guys like Mike Israetel right now, and he'll tell you, like, hey, if you're doing like one muscle group, you probably only need like 3 exercises, maybe 4 at most. You know, it's the quality versus the quantity, right? That's what it's always been. Quality always trumps quantity. It doesn't matter. I can give you 1,000 Snickers bars, and you're gonna get fat as fuck if you eat them all. You do something good right the first time, you don't have to do it again for 5 times or more. That's what I'm saying with HIIT. It's like, okay, if you do one working set to failure, as heavy as possible, why are you going to do it again? Why? You've already achieved what you set out to do. If you keep doing that, you're probably just going to stress the fuck out of your body, and you're not going to be able to go higher in terms of your reps or your weights the next week or the week afterwards. I mean, you also need recovery. And the only time I've really seen like results that I think are impressive when it comes to high volume training is someone like Tom Platz. I mean, we all know about Tom Platz leg days. They're like the scariest thing that any gym bro goes through at the gym. The scariest. Terrifying. But that guy only did his legs like every 2 weeks. Like, he's doing a high volume approach for those legs. He's doing like something crazy, like 8 to 10 sets of squats. Just kill me now, please. But he's only doing it every 2 weeks. That's how much time he needs to recover. And his quads are bigger than my fucking shoulders in terms of length. So, why does HIIT work so well? Like I said, you're doing one working set. You're making your point, right? You're making your point, and it's fast and efficient, right? You're going as heavy as you can for one working set. 6 reps to failure, maybe more, depends on the muscle group. But that's typically how it goes. If you've hit your muscle that hard, and you've made your point, and you can't train at that weight anymore, why are you going to continue? Why? The muscle adapts to the kinds of stimulus that you give it. My term of thinking is your muscle is only going to be as big as the weights that you are lifting. If you're like a traditional bodybuilder, like some of the guys we have today, their approach is more high volume training. But even the guys that like a lot of people have respect for now, you know, Chris Bumstead, like everybody knows who Chris Bumstead is. I can't tell you off the back of my head who the current Mr. Olympia is, but I know who is the Olympia for the classic physique. It's Chris Bumstead. He's got a fantastic physique. His physique is incredible. But you know what he also does? He does low volume training. I just looked at one of his workouts. I'll put the link down here so you can check it out. But for some of the exercises, the guy is only doing 2 sets. He's just doing 2 sets. That's all he's doing. Just 2 sets. Why? Because quality always trumps quantity. There is no way in hell, no way, unless you are taking like 5-minute breaks in between every set, that you are going to be doing 405 for 6 reps to failure for 5 sets. There's no way. No way. The weight is either going to come down, or you're going to be taking really long rest periods in between each set, and you're just going to be at the gym again for 2 to 4 hours. Why? You don't need to do that. You know, the muscles grow when you're recovering, right? They're not growing when you're in the gym. So those extra 2 to 3 hours you spent in the gym, the muscles aren't growing. You're just breaking them down. And the more you break them down, the more recovery time you're going to need. You're going to have people like Jay Cutler, for instance, who say like, I only got 4 hours of sleep every night. Great. That is Jay Cutler. You are not Jay Cutler. Don't do that. Most people are going to need that at least 6 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Maybe even more depending on the person. Why are you going to spend 4 hours at the gym? I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And if you do go really heavy, look, I have tremendous respect for people like Sam Solid. I think Sam Solid's physique is incredible. I think the guy's work ethic is incredible. I love watching his videos. But his form breaks down a lot. Let's just be honest. Like his form, the quality of what he's doing, it breaks down a lot. Especially when he's working really heavy, repeatedly over and over and over again. Look, you know, the guy has an incredible physique. I think he knows what works for him. I also know that when I lifted like that, I just fucked my body up. I got 3 herniated discs in my neck. I had a herniated disc in my lower back. I tore this rotator cuff. To this day, this shoulder is always, this is the problem side. It's a lot better now because I know how to work with it. But what I'm saying is that when I train like that, my body fell apart. Sam's hasn't. Maybe it has, and we don't know. He knows what works for him. What works for him is probably not going to work for you. If it does, great. You figured it out. You are one in a couple thousand that can. Most people, you are going to want quality. And what I find from HIIT is that you get quality. Yes, your first 2 sets, they're just warm-up sets. You're not really doing shit. You're just kind of getting some blood flow through the muscle. You're stimulating it. You're getting it warm. And then you're doing 1 working set. 1 working set all out to failure. The only negative I can say about this is that you make pretty big jumps in the weight. So you're going to have a pretty good understanding of where you're at and where you can push yourself, and you'll probably need, you know, if you really want to push yourself on things like a barbell bench press or squats, you're going to need somebody to help spot you, or you're probably going to have to work with machines, because if you are truly training to failure, you're getting to a point where you cannot move that weight anymore, and you're probably going to need somebody to help you out. My workaround for that is I use a lot of machines, and if I am using barbells or doing things like a barbell bench press, it's really easy to just say, hey, come over here, random guy, help spot me. So easy fixes if you're smart enough and you're thinking enough about it. So you get a lot of quality out of it. You get not tons of volume, but you get a lot of quality. And if you are using really good form, right, like if you're going nice and slow on an eccentric, you're getting that deep stretch, and then you're pressing through, you are working that muscle far better than somebody who's just like, just repping them out. Like, what is that? Science shows that the greatest muscle growth and hypertrophy comes from you getting that really deep stretch in the muscle. So I emphasize that. If you are going to do HIIT, or if you're going to do anything in general, try and work through your fullest range of motion. That's going to make your body a lot healthier and happier in the long run anyway as well. There was a scientific study about hamstrings, right? So it said that your hamstrings are less likely to tear the more flexible that they are. Apply that to every muscle in your body, right? If you are working through your deepest ranges of motion, your likelihood for injury is going to be less likely. Because imagine, right, you are bench pressing. You're one of those guys, right, that when you bench press, you only come here, and then one day you just come all the way down here. Oh shit, your pec just tore. Why? Because you're not used to coming all the way down here. But guess what? If something happens, you better be ready for it, right? You know, there's something to be said about traveling through fullest ranges of motion and going into these kind of unnatural positions that your body is going to want to fight, because the body is inherently lazy. It doesn't want to do shit. The body is not going to be like, whoa, don't go down all this far, I'm stuck. So you've got to tell your body what's best for it, because the body really doesn't know what's best for it. It's just going to be inherently lazy and try and do the least amount of work possible. It's going to want to reserve energy for other things that you're going to be doing throughout the day. You know, like running after your food. We're no longer cavemen, folks. Try HIIT out. That's all I'm saying. Try HIIT. Try HIIT, because you're going to get better quality. If high volume training has been working for you, cool. I would still recommend you try HIIT. Just see if it makes any difference. The only thing that I don't really follow is I don't take as many rest days. And look, sometimes if you if you try going as heavy as possible for 6 reps, you might not be able to get 6 reps. You might get 3 or 4. If that's the case, you could do a drop set. I don't see a problem with that. You just overestimated how much you can do. So it still doesn't mean that you're not training HIIT style, because you're going to do that drop set. You're still going to go really fucking heavy as you can, and you're going to create that muscle stimulus. So look, guys, you want to try out HIIT, please do it. If this video convinced you to do it, go do it. If you don't want to do it, best of luck. But this is what has worked for me. I've put on over 20 pounds since January doing this. You can call bullshit on that if you want. I'm going to show you pictures of what I used to look like to what I look like now. You tell me. I think I look very different from what I used to look like. I was a lot leaner. I was definitely more cut, and you could see more abdominal muscles, but now I got more size. I got broader shoulders, my chest is bigger, my back is bigger, my legs are bigger. If you want to put on muscle size, I think HIIT is a great approach. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. This is my first time really putting out a video like this. I'm going to be putting out more videos like this at least once a week. I said that in a prior video, but right now I really mean it, so I mean it. And yeah, I put out a lot of shorts on YouTube. That's kind of how I got over 1,000 subscribers, was just putting out funny content. And I got an Instagram as well. I got TikTok. I've got Snapchat. I've got gorillas in my living room. That's a joke. Follow me, share the channel if you have the time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.